This is the second paragraph. Okay. And right now we are going through each sentence in this second paragraph. 85% of the Taklimakan Desert consists of shifting sand dunes, some up to 250 meters tall, that are largely free of vegetation. First word for you to pay attention to, that is the word consist of, include or contain. 85% of the Taklimakan Desert includes shifting sand dunes. Sand dunes are not sandstorms. Sand dunes are not sand winds. Sand dunes are just like hues of sand on the desert. You can see on the sand, like you can see at the desert, lots of mountains, but those are not hard mountains. Those mountains are not real mountains because those mountains are made of sand. And if you step on top of the sand mountain, you are gonna be sinking bit by bit into the sand. That is the sand mountains. We have like real mountains and the sand mountains, just like you go to the beach, and you are making the you are making the castle by the sand at the beach. So just like this, you are making the mountain by the sand at the beach. And this is the desert we are speaking of. So sand dunes here are sand mountains, sand hills. They look like real hills and real mountains, but in fact, they are just sand. So that is it. Shifting sand dunes, it means the sand dunes, are created in lots of places in the desert. And here, when the wind blows very hard, the wind will carry the sand bit by bit. So the shifting sand dune, it means the moving sand dunes. Moving sand dunes doesn't mean that the sand dunes can walk on their feet and go like human beings. No, of course not. Shifting sand dunes mean this place we have sand dunes, but another place in the desert or other places in the desert, we still have sand dunes because the wind carries the sand all over the place. And when the wind stops, at some places, the wind is gonna drop the sand down onto the surface of the desert. And at that place, the desert is gonna form bit by bit, small mountains, tiny mountains, small mountains, bigger mountains, larger mountains by the sand. That is the shifting sand dunes, moving sand dunes. Sand carried by the wind to make sand dunes. Yeah, next. That are largely free of vegetation. The word that here, stands for Taklimakan Desert. When you see that, when you see which, please try to find out what is that? What is which? Please be careful with this. So here that are largely free. Largely free, it means it means the whole place doesn't have something. Largely free. Free here is not about the free time. Free it means none of. No, none of money, none of time. That is the word free. I am free of energy. It means I am none of energy. I don't have energy anymore. That is the word free. Free, the first meaning that is about the time. Free, the second meaning it is about none of. Vegetation, not vegetable. Vegetation is plant, plant. Yeah, so here it means that are largely free of vegetation. It means that doesn't have plants. They want to say that the desert, 85% of the Taklimakan Desert doesn't have sand, doesn't have plants, doesn't have flowers, doesn't have trees. That is what the meaning of it. Yet, transitional areas between the open desert and oasis on the desert fringe support diverse plant forms. First of all, let's check out the word transitional areas. Transitional areas, it means the moving areas. Open desert. Open desert. First, you have a desert. Second, that kind of desert, it's going to make the nearby places become another desert. That is open desert. When you are, it's like open relationship. When you say that you are in an open relationship, it means you are gonna open your heart to everybody that you meet in your life. You welcome everybody into your life. That is the open relationship. So that is just like open desert. When the desert is open, it means that the desert is gonna make another desert become desert, or the desert is gonna make another place become a desert. That is open desert. Oasis. Oasis is a place between the desert and the ocean. It's like a coastline. So this line, this place is the place between the desert and the ocean, between the desert and the sea. That is called oasis. So the open desert and the oasis on the desert fringe. What is desert fringe? Desert fringe is the desert border. Vietnam has a border against China. China has a border against Vietnam. Border, border. So this is about the desert border, the desert fringe. Transitional areas means the moving areas. Transitional here means when this area become a desert, another area is going to become a desert, and the next area is going to become a desert. Another different area is going to become a desert. That is transitional areas, moving areas, making all other places become such a thing like that. That is transitional areas. Support, assists, help diverse plant forms. Diversity means many kinds of plant form, many groups of plant form, plentiful, various. Yet transitional areas between the open desert and oasis on the desert fringe support diverse plant forms. Here they are talking about the transitional areas. And where are the transitional areas? These areas, are located between the open desert and the oasis. And in these areas, the flowers or the plant forms are going to be supported, for some scientific reasons we don't know, that are not only have adapted to the harsh conditions, but actually thrive there. We have the word adapted to. Okay, so they are talking about the plant forms. The plant forms adapted to it means the plant forms are able to survive in these harsh, difficult, challenges, conditions. That is the word adapt to. When things adapt to other things, I mean that those things can survive. Those things are able to survive under any circumstances in all kinds of harsh conditions, but actually thrive there. You studied the word thrive with me already. Thrive mean they still stand tall. They still stand healthy. They still grow tall and healthy and strong there. That is the word thrive. No matter what happens or no matter how it feels, they still survive. That is the word thrive. So here they are talking about the platforms. They are talking about the kinds of plants. The many kinds of plants still survive in these harsh conditions of the desert. Next paragraph. Successful desert plants are resilient to scorching summers and frigid winters, drought, and high salt conditions. First of all, resilient. Love this word, guys. Resilient to resilient. When you say you are resilient to something, it means you can adapt to those kinds of environment very quickly. You can say that, oh my gosh, studying English is very hard. Lots of exams, lots of degrees I need to take. I have to be resilient to those kinds of exams, those kinds of examinations. So when you say irresilient, you are irresilient to other things. I mean, you are able to adapt to other things quickly, effectively, and efficiently. That is the word resilient. Here, successful desert plants. Well, we use the word successful for people, but we can never ever see the word successful used for animals, used for plants. In fact, the word successful is used for everything in your life. You can say that, oh, this is such a successful laptop. It means, oh my gosh, this laptop is broken, but I can still use the laptop for real. So you can use the word successful for things that those things suffer very bad. Like technician problems, but those things are useful for human beings or are usable. So when things are usable, even though they are broken, you can use the word successful. Just like the desert plants, the plants, the plants which need to live in the desert are very flexible and have to adapt to all kinds of environment. That is the desert plants. Okay, successful desert plants. That is what I want to say. Successful desert plants are resilient to scorching summer. Scorching? Nice word. It's like just like hot. They said they want to say the hot summers, but they want to make English difficult for the learners. They use the word scorching. Scorching summers, extremely hot summers, so hot summer, and frigid winter. Frigid, it means so cold, too cold. Okay, you can die. You can die in this cold. That is frigid, frozen like a dead bird. Frigid winters, drought. When it is drought, you are gonna feel very dry in your body. The rain doesn't, okay, we will have no rains, the rain doesn't fall, the rain doesn't fall, we have no water, we have no rain, we have no food. That is drought. High salt conditions, just like the high salt rivers. If something is very high in salt, nothing is gonna survive there. Just imagine the river. Just imagine the river. You can see that the water of the river, if the water of the river is too salty, the fish cannot live in those kinds of rivers. The plants cannot grow from those kinds of rivers. That is high salt conditions. The plant's principal defense against these environmental stressors consists of drawing in as much water as possible while minimizing moisture loss. Principle is not like the principal of the school or the principal of the center. It's not like the top leader of the school or the top leader of the center. Principle here means the rule. RULE, the rule. The principle, get the principle defense. It means the defense rules. The rules for you to fight back, okay, against something which are wrong to you. That is principle defense. Just means defense rules. So the plan's defense here, fighting back against these environmental stressors. Environmental stressors, okay, the factors, the things, okay, belong to environment. These environmental stressors, these environmental factors, the plants fighting rules against these environmental situation, these environmental cases, these environmental factors consist of drawing in, okay, first of all, drawing in. Drawing in, it means that taking something, taking something. So when they say that they draw in as much water as possible, means they try to absorb, okay, absorb as much water as possible. Absorb, ABSORB, that is absorb, okay, as much water as possible, while minimizing the moisture loss. Minimizing, try to cut down something to the best, okay, to the best extent, to the most extreme extent. That is minimizing. Minimizing moisture loss, it means if they lose loss of moisture, if they lose the wet, okay, they are gonna die. So they need to keep the moisture, they need to keep the wet, just like your body, just like your face. If your face, okay, doesn't have water in it, your face is going to be very dried, and when your face is dried, lots of things are gonna, lots of okay, just like acne, just lots of acne are gonna grow, okay, on your facial skin. So you need to keep your skin, okay, wet means moisture. So here they want to say that they don't want to lose, okay, the moisture. They need to keep the moisture, and they cut down on the chances of them losing the moisture. Here, where does the moisture live? The moisture live in the plant. The trees, the flowers, they need water to grow and to live. So if the trees and the flowers or the plants are out of water, They are running out of water, and they are losing the wet, they are losing the moisture inside them, they are gonna die soon. That is what they say, that they are trying to minimizing the moisture loss. 3 Taklimakan plants. Okay, let's just forget, okay, the names of these plants. We don't need to pay attention to the names of these plants. We just need to know that 3 Taklimakan desert, 3 Taklimakan plants, sorry, represent some of the most diverse, prolific vegetation in the area. Okay, right. Prolific. I love this word. I I usually use the word excellent for my students, like excellent, okay, hello, excellent, very good. But here you can use the word prolific instead of excellent. Excellent is, okay, the kind of word which you commonly use in your life, and it's going to be boring because you use it a lot. So instead of using excellent, you can switch to prolific. You can say that, oh, such a prolific student, very prolific, guys. Yeah, that is the way for you to compliment, okay, compliment someone when they do something, okay, well, okay, and effectively for you. You can say that, oh, prolific. They say that prolific is a vegetation, excellent vegetation, diverse and prolific vegetation in the area. Yeah, here they want to say that these three Taklimakan plants represent some of the most diverse, prolific vegetation in the area. Here, represent, it means display, okay? They belong to these groups, and these groups are diverse, these groups are prolific. That is what they want to say. Although they share many survival strategies, each has developed unique coping mechanisms in its own. First, strategies. Strategies means the methods, the ways for you to use in order to solve something. Simply is that. Okay, simply is that. Okay, what is the way? What is the strategy? What is the method for this? What is the strategy for this? Instead of using the word way, the method, they changed to strategy. Okay, it looks very beautiful, but the meaning is still the same as ways and methods. So here, although they share many survival strategies, although they share many ways to be able to survive in these harsh conditions, although they have the same ways, okay, to be able to live, to continue to live, to continue to fight, so that we can live in these hard, difficult weather conditions. That is what they want to say. Each has developed unique coping mechanism of its own. Mechanism, just like a system. Mechanism is system. System, when you hear the word system, you think of something very big, like a factory or a program that is a very big and expensive program. But when you hear the word mechanism, you would think of these parts, parts A, part B, part C, part D. Lots of parts are linked, connected to each other in order to build up a system. And this kind of system is going to help you, okay, to work. That is the word mechanism. Just like me, I can say that if I want to teach English, I need to have online teaching mechanism. And what is the online teaching mechanism for me? First, I need to have internet. Second, I need to have a loudspeaker, a Bluetooth speaker. Second, laptop. Third, camera. And fourth, okay, fifth, Zoom and brand map software. Yeah, so these 6 tools make up mechanisms, online teaching mechanisms for me. Yeah, so this is the meaning of paragraph 3. Please double check your Zalo for the second link.